Welcome to my podcast, Today's Dream, Tomorrow's Reality. My name is Vickie Poole. I'm a master transformational coach and hypnotist specializing in habit change. And this podcast is sponsored by the Enlightened Peach. And it's all about embracing our mosaic life. And some of you may ask, what is a mosaic life anyway? Well, it is recognizing that all the pieces of our life, the good, the bad, the indifferent, have all come together to make us who we are. Change any one thing and we are different. With that in mind, I invite you to embrace your perceived imperfections and celebrate who you are. This podcast is unedited and raw, just like life. I am your host, and I'll have a special guest today I'll introduce in just a moment. Before I do, I would love for you to leave a comment, a question, and remember to like, subscribe, and share. So now let's get started. So this gentleman right here, Donovan Campbell, I really don't know Donovan Campbell. I just know he's going to be perfect on the podcast. I just know little bits about him, but I'm going to let him just give you a little quick intro, and then we'll get into some conversation because I'm excited to ask him about a few things that I know. Go ahead, Donovan.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, or good morning, wherever you're listening from over the world. I am happy to be a guest in this podcast along with Vickie. In a nutshell, I am a Caribbean born from the tropical country, Jamaica, which the fastest man in the world is from that country. And currently, I live in Canada with my family, and author of 3 books. My first book that I publish is I co-author with my wife, and my other 2 books are music book because also I am a gospel recording artist, and I am a creativity and a life coach also. So yeah, a young man that have a lot of things happening.
Yeah, you're like the rest of us. Entrepreneurs always wear multiple hats, right?
Yeah.
I seem to
Yeah.
be taking my hats on and off all the time, right? So
Yeah.
what I want to know is, what really, like you were born in Jamaica, right? Isn't that what you said,
Right.
Jamaica?
Yes.
And then moved to Canada. So what took you from Jamaica to Canada?
Okay. So my wife, she lives in Canada. She's a Jamaican born too, but she came here when she was I think 12 or 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it comes. I end up came to Canada.
So how did you know her?
Okay, it was we met on through a mutual church friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that does
So
work, right?
yeah. So long distance relationship do work,
Okay.
and this August coming will be 8 years since we are married, and
Okay.
our union produced 1 child so far.
Beautiful.
Yeah, a happy, energetic boy.
Yeah.
So
What's his
yeah,
name?
his name is Samuel Delroy Campbell.
Oh, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, yeah.
Might be a while before he learns how to do that one. How old is he?
He's 2 years old.
Okay. So he can kind of get that now, right? At 2.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
I
yeah,
know sometimes names are really hard for them to even string together 3 nice words like that, little bitty
yes.
ones. If his name was Bob, it'd be no problem, right?
Right, right.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on that. And that's
Thank
super
you.
exciting. I have a friend of mine that through her work, she went to, I think it might have been Jamaica. I can't remember. She went there with a travel thing for work, and she met a gentleman, and even though they didn't have a lot of time together, they're still doing this long distance thing. They just really just fell for each other on this trip, and
Yeah.
so she is like planning trips all the time, trying to figure out how she can go there and see him, and how he can come here. And it just seems like it would be very challenging to be able to do that. So when you were dating your wife, were you able to go and visit a lot, or was it mostly just kind of online or on the phone?
Well, my wife traveled basically every year, go back home to Jamaica in
Okay.
the Caribbean. So that was something that I always look forward to see her every year. And otherwise, from that, back then it was Skype.
Oh
We on
gosh,
Skype,
that dates you, doesn't it?
yeah, we on Skype day and night. We text each other through our regular phone. We have phone calls.
Oh wow.
We send each other emails. So we capitalize on technology in every aspect to communicate and,
Yeah. Yeah. So how long have you been? I know you said you're a musician,
mhm.
um, 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 a spiritual musician, a Christian. Is it Christian or is it just spiritual? I don't know. I don't know the difference,
Christian,
to be
a
honest with
Christian, a Christian, Christian musician.
you. Okay. And then you've written books, one with your wife, and then you've written two others. And for what I remember from the form that you filled out for me, the two of the books I think are about helping people to be musicians with a different way of doing it, if I'm understanding correctly, right?
Right, right. Right. So my first music book that I published in 2022, that's the year when my son was born. Yeah, I published it a month before his birth. That book, 20, 20, 22 plus years writing music, I I just speak about my experiences in that book over the years. Writing music for over 20 years, and I start recording music when like 15 years after writing. So I'm more passionate about writing than to go
Okay.
into the recording studio. So I share all of that experience in that book. And also I did a questionnaire with various musicians,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just to get how musicians think, and that questionnaire is also in the book. A completed questionnaire is in the book, along with a blank questionnaire that persons can also fill out for themselves. That's the
Okay.
first one. The second music book, I was inspired because I recognize that there is four regular most songwriting structures by musician. So I recognize that there is other structures, and it's most of the music that what I hear on the radio, or I see music video, they fall into one of the four structures.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so curious. There got to be others. So I did some research and put my own touch to it. And that's how I come with the second music book called 10 plus songwriting structures.
Okay.
So,
So
so
basically, with that one, you're helping people to write and expand into other structures so they're not staying in the box that most musicians are
exactly.
staying
Yeah.
in,
The
right? Am I
square.
getting you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest with you, currently I am I am creating an online course, and this is the first I'm creating an online course where I speak about those four
Mm-hmm.
mostly songwriting structures by musicians from all genre of music
Right.
worldwide. So I'm creating a course right now. I I hope to complete it next weekend, because for me, when I'm working on a project, I love to have a starting date and an end date. So
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
end date is next weekend. But I'm pleased about it. I can happily say I am 99% with the course. So
Okay.
there's just 1% to go. Yeah. So I will meet my due date.
Good. Well, I know for me, there are times that I will set that beginning and that end date, and then as it gets closer, I think, "Oh, I need to move that baby just a little bit because I ain't gonna make it." But if I don't
Mhm.
set that date, It's like
yeah,
nothing ever gets finished because it's like this open air window where, well, it doesn't matter, and you don't do anything. You have,
yeah.
for me, I have to have at least a little bit of a container that says people are expecting this here so that I will I will get it done,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, one of my reason why I have a starting date and a end date on a project or anything I'm doing, it helps me to be disciplined,
Mm-hmm.
disciplined, with that mindset to say yes, get this goal accomplished
Right.
by this date, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I may go over, but at least I have a date and I'm
Yeah.
working to accomplish the goal by that date. So it helps to discipline my mindset and so forth. So, and
Yeah.
it helps me a lot. It helps me a lot.
Yeah, I feel you because, like I said, if I don't set a date, I'll get so distracted with all the little shiny objects and the things that I want to do or need to do that I will
Mhm.
just forget about it and do something else. So yeah, I get that for sure. So I know, um, I think it said something. I put a couple of notes down so I remember. That you are also not only write about song for songwriters, you write um, for people who want to tell stories and how to write their book. Did I understand that right? You do that
Yes.
as well?
Yes. So as I said before, I'm a creativity and a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's two umbrellas. So the creativity aspect where I coach persons around songwriting, stage performance, and persons who desire to become an author. So that's the creativity aspect, and where the
When
life
did you
coach.
start doing that though? How long have you been doing that?
Um, to tell the truth, it's a little bit over here since
Okay.
I really take it intentionally to
Mm-hmm.
say I'm going to go into the coaching aspect because
Yeah.
in 2020 during the art of the pandemic I did a health and life coaching course,
Mm-hmm.
and from there I was inspired to be an entrepreneur and how can I help people. So yes, and because I love creativity, I just combined it together and said, creativity and life coach. So when it is creativity, it's all about creativity, even though sometimes I mix it both because persons react to things differently.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I may take a little bit of the life coaching into the creativity aspect where persons can be relaxed and to explore their talents and so forth.
So as a creativity coach, you're helping people to um get into any part of their creativity, or is it mostly geared toward music and writing? Is that your, or is it just, because reason I'm asking is I with my coaching, I a lot of times tell people to, it's important to get creative. And that means, whether it's doodling on a piece of paper or if that means getting your paint brushes and your paints out or, I don't really talk much about like music because that's not my forte, which maybe I should add that in that because music is powerful for memories and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And so I'll talk a lot about that because we sometimes, like you were talking about the musicians that stay in a box, and
yeah,
sometimes it's getting into create a creative flow of some kind helps you see that there's something outside the box,
hmm,
right?
yeah, yeah. To answer that question, currently I just focus on the writing aspect,
Mm-hmm.
and because I'm passionate, I love to write. So I
Mm-hmm.
realize that's a natural gift that I
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
and I just see where everybody they do write, and everyone have a story, and so that's where I challenge persons, whether they want to write a music or they want to write a book, it is there, and talent and development and growth, I also have that coaching program also.
Okay, that's
So
pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you're kind of you're helping people expand in a lot of areas, not just in the writing and the music. It's
right,
the whole shebang, right?
right, right,
Yeah, the mindset and all that stuff, which mindset's
right,
huge, right?
right. Mindset is everything,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
It all starts in the mind.
yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, I'm so humble and excited to say I never see myself being an author of 3 books, much less to be an author of 2 music book, and also I am a recording artist. I never see myself like that, but it was there in the mind. So in order for me to get it out of the mind, I just get it onto paper, and just from paper I create products.
So when you're being a musical artist, do you sing as well, or is it writing just the music? Or is
Both,
that together, both of them?
both, both,
Okay. So
both.
where can we find you so we can listen?
Okay, persons can find me on my YouTube page, Brother DC. That's my stage name, Brother DC. So persons can just type Brother DC on YouTube, and it just popped up. Or
Okay.
they simply can just go in Google search and just type in Brother DC, and my Facebook page and YouTube page will pop up from there.
Okay, cool. So for anybody that's watching or listening,
Mm-hmm.
in the show notes, I will actually be putting in all of his links to everything. So you'll be able to get to it very easily. But I will be diving in and taking a listen too, because you said it's gospel music, right?
Yeah, gospel
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be pretty cool to dive into. And I've got a lot of people that would really be intrigued. So I'll share it out too, because that'll be
Thank you.
fun.
Thank
Don't
you.
it's funny. When you hear somebody on Spotify or YouTube or on the radio or anything, and you know who they are, it's like, oh, I know somebody that's famous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's amazing when you know somebody and you see their book somewhere.
Mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm,
it's
mm-hmm.
it's like mind-boggling. And
Yeah,
currently writing a book that
awesome.
it's definitely not. I'm not that close with it. I may be like 15% in. That's about it. I've got a ways to go, but I'm still
Mm-hmm,
writing it. Um,
mm-hmm.
but I think it's cool. So as you're helping people with writing,
Yeah,
and when you do, are you're taking them through just the process of teaching them how to get their thoughts on paper? Or are
right.
you teaching them how to do something with it? What are you doing? It's just
Um,
I don't know. What are you doing?
where the book writing aspect is I start from zero, go straight to 100 and beyond 100.
Okay, what does that mean?
Because so what that means is that for a person who desire to write a book, the
Mm-hmm.
question that I would ask, what book would you want to write?
Mm-hmm.
Because I coach person not just to write any book, write a
Right.
book that is educational, that something persons can gain a lot of benefits from,
Mm-hmm.
and not only the readers will get benefits from it. Also from that book you can do a presentation anywhere.
Right.
So that's my
It becomes
that's
your signature talk, so to speak, right?
there you go.
Okay.
There you
Okay.
go. There you go. So I encourage person not just to say, I just want to write a book because I feel. Write a book that it can it can take you to places. You can do a presentation online. You can do presentation in person, and and that is also a way of you being promoting your book, and also you educating persons.
Yeah.
So a book is very powerful, so I don't take it lightly.
Yeah. So just just out of curiosity. So let's just say that there's somebody that's watching or listening and they've been thinking that they would love to write a book about some of the thoughts or something that they're doing that helps them. and
Yeah.
they're hoping that it'll help other people. So
Mhm.
what would be the first thing you would tell them that they would need to do?
Um, the first
If they
thing I
haven't
would
started at all, they just have this idea and that's all.
First thing I will definitely have, my first session is called clarity
Okay.
session. So have a clarity of what is the type of book you want, um, what each chapter will look like, and how we'll take the chapter step by step with details.
Mm-hmm. So when you're helping somebody with this, how many sessions do they basically have to where they go from zero to the book's published? Because do you help
Yeah.
them through with the publishing part too?
Yeah, I'll take
Okay.
them through they have an option. They can be a self-publisher, or they want if they want to go through a traditional publisher. But
Mm-hmm.
it is all goes back to them. The main thing is that just want to get the manuscript out of the way, because that's where most of the energy and focus is on the
Okay.
manuscript.
Yeah.
Yeah, the book cover is easy,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just the
Especially
money.
these days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long a process does that normally take?
I go between 10 to 12 sessions,
So is that like one a week?
one a week, or if a person's available, they want to do 2 sessions per
Okay.
week, that's okay, because there are some persons who are quick and writing.
Mm-hmm.
They just write.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
easily to flow with their writing, while some person they take their time and to write out their thoughts
Yeah. Yeah.
on paper, or some person may type it on computer. But I love to write, because I flow easily,
Mm-hmm.
because when on the computer stuff with, you're just typing, and that takes a lot more energy. So
Definitely. And I'm sure you do, but for those that are watching or listening and they don't know that there's actually the physical writing of things opens the brain up more so that when you've got thoughts in there, you can flow them into your hand in a
exactly,
totally different way. And that even goes
exactly,
for when people are in school and they're taking notes. If they write it with their hand, they retain more of the information. So it's
right,
this
right,
connection that is amazing. So I don't see
right.
why anybody wouldn't want to utilize that part of it, because that just really gets the creative juices flowing just physically
Right,
writing. And I know
right.
for myself, sometimes I can start out with just writing. I don't really know what I want to say right now. I don't know what's going to be going here. I don't know. I don't know. And then suddenly things will start coming and you just keep
Yeah,
writing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's an amazing thing how
yeah,
our brain and our hand are working together. And I think that's
yeah.
just so beautiful. And I think a lot of people aren't aware how much
Mhm,
they're leaving out
mm,
of the process if they're just
mhm.
typing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's more beneficial from
Yeah.
my from my um from my experiences over the years.
Yeah.
It's
So
just right.
when you were young in Jamaica and with your family and everything, did you write back then?
Yeah, I realized that, well, in high school, and I was going to high school, I always loved to do assignments, and to discover, go to the library and get information and put my own touch to it. So from then, I love to write and to do projects and so forth. And at age 14, 15, yeah, I think 15, that's where the whole songwriting aspect comes in.
Okay.
um it's so amazing, just reflecting right now talking to you, because where it all started for me is that at age 15, I became a Christian. And being in the high school, there's so much temptation, the beautiful girls and all of that. And
Yeah.
my classmates always teasing me and say stuff. that I don't want to hear. So,
So I'm assuming
being
from what you're saying that being a Christian in the school you were in was not the norm.
no,
Was
it wasn't
there?
not.
Right.
because
So,
because I left from a junior high school going to a bigger high school.
okay.
So it was from one school to the other, and during that process I became a Christian.
Yeah.
So I mean, going to a high school where over 1,000 or 2,000 students is comparing to a school that I was coming from with probably less than 1,000, you
Whoa,
know.
big difference.
Yeah, and I mean, but then I love the girls and all of that. So, there are certain things I couldn't do that, young. So I tend to write on paper to God, how
Hmm.
I feel and all of that. And that's where the
Okay.
whole writing development start for me.
Yeah. So it was kind of like you were journaling, and then
Exactly.
the journaling came into you writing. Is that when you started writing the music, right?
Yeah. When I started, I don't know how to write a course. I
Hmm.
chorus. I don't know how to write a verse. I don't even know how to write a complete song. But as I continue to write, and I had a cousin of mine when I was back home. He helped me how to structure
Okay.
a song, because the difference between me and him is that he easily inspired to with a song into his brain, and by him saying words, but he don't write. Well, I write, and that's where I develop the writing skill, and from writing, then I develop how to record and to find my own singing tone and all of that. So it was a process to where I'm at right now. So it all start from writing song till now I become an author of 3 books, 2 music book, and one with my wife.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the one with your wife? What is it?
That book, it's I call it a multi-purpose motivational book. So it is called Our Life's Journey. Um yeah. I just give me a minute. Let me just get my
Okay.
copy. Yeah. I have both books. I have both books with me. This is my music book, 21
Oh, I
plus.
like it. Yeah.
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 And this is the first book that start the whole process with me and my wife.
Yeah.
Our Life's Journey.
So is that your signature talk?
I think this is where it starts. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
is
So,
your wife, does she do talks with you as well, since she's
well, wow. She, oh my God, she's just a package of blessings. I call her that. I give her that title, a package
Oh,
of
I love it.
blessings.
I love it. So tell me
Life.
why. Tell me why.
Um, she inspired me a lot
Hmm.
with with her knowing and without her knowing, because with this first book here, the inspiration came because she's more a writer to me than myself, because at the time when we were dating and in that long distance relationship, she was doing her master's program, and I helped her do her schoolwork online. And it's like every week she usually have probably 2 assignments or more than 2 assignments, and it requirement like is probably 300 words. And my wife always go like 500, 600, 700 words.
She's one of those.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I remember telling her that, I think that you should write a book. And she told me straight up, no. And I still, because I recognize that she can write and she loves to expound. If she's talking about a fruit, she can find beyond 1,000 words to talk about a fruit. When I don't have so much words. So I
Yeah, yeah.
realized that she have that gift of like expounding and writing. And I still I still pushed the button. I said to her, um, can both of us write a book together? She said, no, you alone going to write that book. And I still push. And he said, I start do some scratching out of the book, some carving out and all of that. And by doing that, I told her, what I have in mind. And as I go along, she joined with me, and that's how
Wow.
comes first book comes to life. And yeah, and right now I'm so happy for her because she also published her second book
Okay.
February since here,
Yeah.
because she's also a psychotherapy and educational assistant that works within the school system here in Canada. So she's
Hmm.
doing big things.
Yeah.
Um,
So is that
I,
what
I
her book's about? What's her second book about?
So our second book is it's I wish I didn't have it close to me. Our second book is a devotional book
Okay.
because she, as before, she's a psychotherapist. So she have her own private business where she counsel persons and different areas that she specializes in. So she wrote that book as a devotional book to help persons how to deal with their negative thoughts.
Okay.
The name of the book is called Tell Your Negative Thoughts Not Now. That's the name of the book.
Okay. I like it.
Uh, yeah, Tell Your Negative Thoughts Not Now. Yeah,
Yeah. I like
it's
that
a very
because you're not
powerful book.
saying go away forever. It's just not right now. We'll process
Yeah,
you in a minute, right?
yeah,
Is that kind of
yeah,
what it means?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also a workbook because she have like puzzles into her book and words of affirmation and so forth. So it helps to deal with deal with
Yeah.
the negative thoughts really to get it.
Yeah. So that partners a lot with the stuff that you do as well, right? Because with the
Yeah,
mindset and everything, right?
yeah,
I bet
yes,
there's some
yes.
really interesting conversations over the dinner table.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And I'm happy to say too that I coach her and
Okay.
write a book too,
Oh,
you know.
wow.
Yeah,
Nice, nice.
yeah.
That's impressive. So, do you work, I'm assuming you work mostly online or do you do one-on-one on in person as well?
Online,
Online?
online.
Okay. So you do one-on-one or you do groups?
I do one-on-one,
Okay.
one
Okay.
one-on-one for now. I'm looking forward to do groups, but for now I'm just learning from the one-on-one
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and know how to deal with a group setting.
Yeah, well, for me, I've done one-on-one coaching for a long time. And when I do some group every now and then, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's like the group, it's like it takes a little bit more thought to decide, well, what's the thing that's going to help each one of those people? How can I change the way I'm saying this so I'm not putting the picture in their mind of what it is? They can fill it in for themselves and kind of thing. So it does take a lot more and maybe it's just that it takes a lot more practice,
Mhm.
maybe once you've been doing it for a long time, it's no brainer or whatever. But for
Yeah,
me, it's like I want every person to feel like they're getting individual attention, even though they're not. And
yeah,
so it takes some energy to get to that place. Do you find
yeah,
that? Well, you haven't been doing the groups yet, so you haven't really paid. You don't know
yeah.
about that, right?
I don't know about that as yet, but
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just I'm just mastering the one-on-one, and yeah, by mastering the one-on-one coaching sessions, it will help to boost my confidence to deal with small group and even larger group,
yeah.
because one of the things that I see myself
Mm-hmm.
envision for myself is that I'm going to do large groups, whether online or in person. But
Mm-hmm.
start from the one-on-one coaching and help to boost my confidence. So when I go forward, I'm going forward with passion. I'm going forward with energy.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you see like 5 years from now? What do you see for you and your coaching?
What I see myself setting my own schedule. So I
Mm-hmm.
won't be doing 9 to 5. um, I see myself empowering thousands of people, inspiring people, helping people to take their story and to put into a book or to put into a music. Um, I see myself being on some big platforms that I've never been on before. Just sharing my story and let my story be a motivational to other persons.
Yeah. Yeah. What's interesting to me is, when COVID happened and everything changed where there was so much more stuff online, right? I went to a Tony Robbins event online, and like he had a room that was like screens all across the wall, and you could see all the people, and I thought, oh, that's what I want. I want to have a
Mm,
room with TVs all over and there's so many people on there,
mm,
or I want to be in a big arena where there's people there, but I
mm.
still want to have, this more personal feel to things, and don't
Yes.
know how that works or how that's actually going to look, but
Yeah.
that's one of the vision things I have for me. But until COVID happened and Tony Robbins did that, I never would have ever even thought of this room where everybody's on Zooms and
Mm-hmm,
all of that.
mm-hmm,
So, and my Zoom rooms are not that full right now. I will tell you, but
mm-hmm,
but it's a good thought, right?
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I love doing the visuals where we look at what it's going to look like in 5 years, what it's going to look like in 10 years.
Yeah.
And it gives you some of that fuel, that fire to
Right.
keep
Right.
moving on, right? Knowing
Right.
that you're making a difference. That's the biggest thing, right?
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So when you think about it, how many people do you think, I don't know, is that the right question? Um, do you have an idea in your mind of how many people that you are going to affect in your lifetime?
Ah, that's
I
a
know
very
it's a
good
tough one,
question.
right? That's a
Very
toughie.
close. Um,
But remember, there's the ripple effect. So you help five people right here, and then they help somebody, and then they help five people. So it's not just who you touch, it's
yeah,
who you've touched out that way,
spread,
right?
spread, right. Um, I know for sure um, I'm looking beyond thousand, beyond 1,000. I'm looking for
Yeah.
thousand. Because as I said before, I vision for myself being in some big platforms,
Mm-hmm.
on stage where that room is over 1,000 people and doing a presentation. So, you know, and those platforms may have a YouTube page that have millions of
Yeah, yeah. All right. Now you're talking
millions of
millions. You're getting there. You're getting there,
subscribers.
right?
So, so it even expand even more.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
envision for myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like when we're doing this work, you know, um, I think sometimes we cannot even comprehend the amount of people that we're going to affect in our
Mhm,
lifetime,
mhm, mhm.
because we don't know how many people are affected by one little tiny thing we do.
Mm,
And so it gives me even more fuel to want to do things. And when somebody says, "You've changed my life," it's like, oh,
mhm. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Even now and then, I shed some tears when I
Mm,
really look, and see where I'm coming from, and to hear persons talking about some positive things about me, I'm like, are they sure they're talking about the right person? And then I'm humbled by it, and sometimes I shed some tears because, as I said before, I didn't see myself being a musician. I never see myself being an author of 3 books. I didn't see myself doing these things. But I have discovered through the process that one talent or one gift will store up other gifts that is on the inside
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
know of.
Beautiful. I
Because
love that.
as for me, as I said before, I know I see myself as a writer. I didn't see myself as a recording artist. And from recording artists, I go into writing books. And from books, now I am creating an online course for the very, very first time. I'm humbled. I'm humbled and super happy.
Yeah, yeah.
So, as I said before, one talent will stir up other talents that's inside. The thing is just, for me, I identify that I have the gift of writing. And how can I use this writing skill and to produce?
Yeah.
So I do recording music, and record music, I can write books. And from writing books, here am I now creating an online course. So
Yeah.
it's all about recognizing that one gift and master it in every way and be an expert of it. And it leads to other things inside. Because I didn't, I just said, as you asked the question, I vision myself being into a room doing a presentation with over 1,000 people. I've never done that before, but
Yeah.
because of the writing skill set, it store up other things in me that I can go and talk with confidence about what I have written, or what I've produced.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So do you have siblings?
Yes. By my mother's side, there are 5 boys, and I am the first one. And by my father's side, I know of eight
Holy
children.
moly. Oh,
Yeah.
a lot of kids there. So are any of them writers too, or is it just you?
Um, One of my brother, he also do music, even
Mm-hmm.
though he kind of stopped doing it right now. I don't see him do anything, but
Maybe
he's a
he'll watch
rapper.
you and he'll change that. He'll start doing it more.
Yeah, he's a rapper. He lives in Miami, and one of my sisters, she is a preacher, an
Okay.
evangelist.
Mm-hmm.
So the evangelist or preacher, they do write sermon. So, and yeah, that's what I know of so far among my sibling. But
Okay.
it's humble to say I am the first one who just take off like a skyrocket.
That's
Just
right. You started the trend.
producing. Exactly. Because that sister of mine that I know that writes sermon and she do preach and so forth, she also desire to write a book. So
Okay. So you're going to help her, right?
for sure, I tell her when she's ready.
Yeah.
For sure.
Beautiful. See, you'll have a whole family of writers and their kids and your kids will be writers, and it'll be one of those stories that everybody tells about this family of writers, right?
Right, right,
Yeah. I love it.
right.
Yeah. So, what do you think when you're thinking about all this that you're doing and you're wanting to do with the course that you got coming up and you've got your books and your music and all that stuff? What do you think brings you the most joy?
Uh, well, it's a good question. What brings me most joy is just to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Help people. 3 things I keep in mind when I'm coaching or creating stuff. I want to inspire people. I want to motivate people. I want to educate people.
Yeah.
I want I want those three things I keep in mind whenever time I'm creating something, because I want people to know that there is more on the inside of them to offer.
Yeah.
There's more. And if they could just take some time out and to analyze themselves and to go deep within and discover the more that's inside of them that they can offer, it will be a change for them, because it's a change for me.
Yeah.
So the same joy and blessings and happiness that I'm feeling because I go inside of me and to offer more, I want they to have that experience too.
Yeah.
Because I see myself, my story is not just for me alone. My
Yeah.
story is, as I said before, is to inspire people, to motivate people, and to educate people.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I know we're getting close to time. So, is there anything that you wanted to make sure before we got on here that you spoke about? And I have not brought it up, haven't asked you the right question or whatever. So, is there something that's on your heart that you want to say before we close up?
Um, well, I
And if
one
there's
person.
not, that's okay. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure
Um,
that I've covered all
mm,
the
yeah,
things.
your audience can check, can follow me and Facebook. And my Facebook page is called Coach Donovan DC. There persons can find more about me, or they can check me out on Instagram, Coach underscore Donovan DC. And yeah, I share some motivational things on my pages so persons can get some, inspiration and all of these things, because people do need motivation. We
Yeah.
all do need motivation every day and every night, you
Yes,
know.
we do. Yes, we do. So they get a little taste of some of the stuff that you do, right?
Exactly,
Beautiful,
exactly.
beautiful. And like I said, in the show notes, I will have all the links to you so that they can just click right on it and get onto your page. And,
Yeah.
remember, anybody that's watching or listening, when you go and check him out on Instagram or Facebook, remember to subscribe to his channel or ask to be a member or whatever the heck it is. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But just make sure you like it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and if someone out there that want to have one-on-one coach with me, they can just simply reach out to me and those platform by just message me or so forth, or
Okay.
can send me an email or so. Persons can get my information from there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It's really been eye-opening, and I love
Mm.
all the things that you're doing, and I love your attitude and how you're presenting yourself. It's really, really nice. And congratulations with you and your wife. I mean, I will say I'm a single person. I've been single for quite a while now, and one of my things is if I could find someone who we had the good enough interests together that we could do some of those things, that would be heaven to me. And I haven't
Mm.
met that person yet, but who knows? It's probably there
Yeah,
somewhere, right?
yeah,
If it's God's will, it's I'm going
yeah,
to meet them, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it I said before, I call my wife, a package of blessings,
Yeah,
because we 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 encourage each other, we support each other in everything, um
yeah, I love that.
to last week Saturday, my wife, she did a presentation at they call it they, that they at a church they were having like a health day. So
Mm-hmm.
my wife was the guest speaker of the day. So she did a presentation in the morning and a presentation in the evening. And you know because she's in her field, she's a health advocate, a mental health advocate. So that was the first time for her. So we are, I was always there to support her, doing
Yeah.
positive things.
Yeah. You guys are going places. I can tell. I can tell.
Mm,
Yeah. So just buckle up,
thank you.
Buttercup. It's happening, right? All
Thank you.
right. So thank you everybody that's watching, listening. And I want to end with one of my favorite quotes. And I think I heard someone say that it was Lincoln that said it, but I could be wrong. I have no idea. I keep trying to remember to write it down. But anyway, the best way to predict the future is create it. And I love that because we're creating all the time, right? And so I want to tell everybody thank you so much for being here with us. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you soon. Mwah.